You already know the gacha industry is built on thirst. And this isn't a moral judgment, this is just their business model, guys. They sell PNGs with cleavage and call it character design. They monetize the moment you think, well, she seems cool, and you know what that means. Limbus Company sells PNGs of broken people in trench coats. No jiggle physics, no swimsuit alts, no oops, my shirt's ripped animations. And it's making more money than 90% of them. Here's how and why almost nobody else will be able to copy it. Here's the thing about gacha games that nobody wants to say out loud, and well, I'm going to say it. The product is not the gameplay, the product is the characters, and you're pulling for a JPEG because that JPEG activates something in your brain that makes you want to reach for your wallet. And the easiest way to activate that thing, the most reliable way, the way that works across every culture and every demographic, is to make the character attractive. And that's not complicated, and they're not even trying to be subtle with this. Take Genshin Impact. Raiden Shogun pulls a sword out of her cleavage. She's the Electro Archon, the god of eternity, and she's dressed like she's hosting a late night talk show on a premium cable channel. The design is not about eternity, the design is about, look at her! Then we've got Nike, and I mean, where do you even start? The gameplay is just aiming at things while the game shakes the characters on your screen, like a bartender mixing a martini. The entire value proposition is, shoots robots, goon to the thing. Hokai Star Rail is a bit more restrained, sure, but Kefka's jacket has no shirt under it. Silver Wolf shorts might as well just be body paint, and every limited 5-star trailer spends roughly 40% of its time on angles that are, let's call them architectural? Azure Lane, Fate Grand Order, Wuthering Waves, the pattern holds, hot characters, lingering trailer, you pull, they profit, round and round we go. And I'm not telling you this as someone who actually plays these games, I'm telling you this as someone who didn't. For years, I stayed away from the entire gacha space specifically because of this. Every time I looked at one of these games, I saw the same thing, a character with more cleavage than Tsunade and wearing less than that woman who assists you in Code Vein. I rejected the genre wholesale because I didn't want to be that guy. The guy pulling for a PNG because the artist understood where to put the curves and, well, the lack of cloth. I didn't want to be the person who had to hide my computer screen when someone walked in because it definitely didn't look like what it was supposed to be looking like at that time. Which is exactly why Limbus Company caught me off guard, because when I first saw it, when Mons forced me to play it for the first time, I was waiting for the catch. I was waiting for the one character whose design broke the pattern, the one ID where the artist clearly got the make it marketable note. And that never truly came. Project Moon looked at this entire machine and said, nope. And let's sit with how weird that is for a second. The playable characters are literally called sinners. You have 12 condemned souls working off their crimes in a bell bus. If there was ever a naming convention that sets you up for a lurid edgy, you're going to make these characters look like they stepped out of some kind of dark fantasy thirst trap. It's sinners. They're the easiest layup in character design history. They're sinners. So make them look sinful. You could pretty much justify anything. You can put anyone in anything. The name gives you cover. And Project Moon dressed them like they're going on a business meeting with God. You've got in-court Merceau with a full set of armor, fanatical cult cape, mask covering half of his face, and you could barely even see an inch of this character's skin. He's out here covering up like he's got bad eczema or something. And somehow, this is a gacha character in the business model that survives by making you want the character. And you cannot see most of his goddamn face. What is the design communicating? It's communicating that Merceau has subsumed his identity into the fanaticism of the Negel and Hammer. The mask isn't hiding him, the mask is him. That's character work through design, guys. Ring Raja, full-length dress suit. High collar, covered arms. She looks like she's attending a funeral in like 1920s Russia, which she kind of is. The Ring is a death cult that treats art and murder as the same gesture. The design makes you feel the weight of the world before anyone even speaks a word about it. Back to Merceau, we got Capo Merceau, a suit. Mind you, it's a very nice suit. He's a mafia enforcer, and he dresses like one, because the Thumb is an organization that runs on hierarchy and respect. The visual language is, this man will kill you, but they'll do it politely. W Corp Don Quixote, literally a work uniform. She is a train employee that looks like one that's been fused with a cop of sorts, but still a train employee. No version of this design was routed through a committee that asked, but will the players want to pull for her? Yes, I'm still doing this. We need more examples, like with 𝐾 A suit again, elegant, understated, a full body combat suit with this half-mask stuff. Most games will show so much skin, and Limbus be out here covering half of the face and showing even less of their characters. The kind of outfit that screams, I'm fully protected. No bikini armor or its barbarian equivalent for the males. 7 Otis, a military dress uniform with a pimp cane, but she looks like she's about to give you a performance review, and well, you're about to fail it. There's a version of this game designed by another studio, maybe through a mirror world, where in-court Merceau has his mask off with his jaw line sharp enough to cut glass and his cape open for no reason other than to show his rippling abs. Where Ring Raja has strategic cutouts, where W Corp Dawn is in, I don't know, booty shorts for some reason. Project Moon didn't do that. They didn't even look down this path. Every ID is designed to serve the world and the character's place in it, not the player's gaze. The sinner is the same person in a different context, and the clothes tell you what that context is. Sinners dress like they answer to something higher than your eyes only. And that's not an accident. That is the philosophy behind KJH and his ability to write his characters. Here's the problem with the thirst model. If your character sells because she's hot, you don't actually need to be interesting. Hot is enough. The design does the work. The writing can be competent, or it could be shit thrown at wallpaper. The player's brain already filled in the rest. Project Moon doesn't have that crutch. They can't fall back on, well, she's got a nice design, because the design is just a depressed office worker in a damn trench coat. So they have to make you care through writing. They have to make the character matter. And this is where the ID system becomes genuinely brilliant. When you pull an ID in any other gacha game, you're pulling a new character, a new face, a new personality, a new reason to maybe swipe. In Limbus, you're pulling a version of someone you already know. And the ID comes with story fragments. A glimpse into an alternate timeline where things went differently, where this sinner made a different choice, where they joined a different faction, where they became a different person. The pull isn't for the character. You already have the character. The pull is for more of their psychology, their mental state, if you will. That's a completely different value proposition. In Genshin, you want Raiden because she's cool and strong and you need an electro DPS. In Limbus, you want in-corp Sinclair because you need to know why he joined them. You need to see what broke him. The pull is narrative. The pull is curiosity. The pull is, I need more of this specific Sadman's flavor of sadness. And the Cantos are doing foundational work to make that pull function. Canto 4 made you understand 𝐸 Seng's quiet devastation, and then, over the course of the story, you get to actually see him get his wings. Canto 5 turned Ishmael from the one with the shield into a woman who watched everyone she loved die to an obsession. The game makes her pain yours, and by the end, you understand her in a way that no character trailer could ever accomplish. Canto 6 made Heathcliff, the screaming British man who does nothing but yell and hit things, into a tragic figure you genuinely go to bat for. The game took a one-note joke and asked, what if that joke was actually a defense mechanism covering for decades of grief? And the audience went from rolling their eyes to defending him in comment sections. Don Quixote's Canto, I know people who cried over a got you character. In a game where the production budget for a cutscene is 2 PNGs moving towards each other while text scrolls, just writing, music swelling at the right points, and it worked. That's not supposed to be possible. The entire industry operates on the assumption that you need spectacle to sell emotion. Limbus proved you just need to write characters worth caring about, and then actually make it good on the promise that their story goes somewhere. No character model spinning in a circle, no hip swaying animation loop, just good writing. So, Project Moon did everything right. No fan service, no bait, no designs that exist to activate the monkey brain. They built the game that respects their characters. And well, the community responded by, well, completely, catastrophically, and objectively being down bad anyway. Take 𝐜𝐨𝐽, military uniform, full-length pants, the most modest possible outfit for a commanding officer. She looks like she's going to hand you your quarterly earnings report and then fire you for insubordination. And yet, there's a man, let's call him Claymantic, who has made thirsting over Otis a core pillar of his online identity. Host said it's probably a folder. I'm not saying I've seen it. I'm saying that the evidence suggests that there is a folder. Clay, if you're watching this, don't stop being you, you crazy bastard. If your audience needs proof that you're not on the down low, then they need look no further. They know your love for this woman. The engagement is probably great while they question your sexuality though, isn't it? Merso. This man is a brick wall with a suit. He shows approximately one emotion the entire game. Some people would call it stoic. He answers every question literally, in the fewest possible words, while looking at you like he's reading the terms and conditions. And by any rational standard, this man should be anti-thirst. He should be thirst repellent. He should be the character design equivalent of a cold shower. And yet, his fans, and they are legion because they are many, have decided he is the husband, the one, the man who would do things to them no other character could, specifically because he'd do them with the same facial expression he uses to file his taxes. His autism is not a barrier to thirst. His autism is the thirst. The community looked at the most emotionally unavailable man in all of fiction and said, he could fix me, and I'll call him daddy while he does it. Even though in the end he wouldn't care to, and somehow that's the appeal to you guys. I don't know how to tell you. Project Moon wrote a character that cannot emote. The audience projected an entire romantic fantasy onto him anyway. And that's not a failure of the no thirst model. That's the model working so damn well it broke containment and achieved escape velocity. Then we got mine, Ryoshu, and look, I need to disclose something here. Claymantic and I are at war over Ryoshu. Actually, ongoing hostilities. He thinks he has a claim, he does not. She's a war criminal who treats violence as performance art. She smokes, she has a sword, and she's fine as hell. And being a veteran myself, I know exactly how to treat her. That's it, Clay. One of these days, we've got to BS in a stream together so we can settle this once and for all. Clay, you know where to find me. War aside, 𝐓𝐡𝐢, the character whose defining trait is that she's so consumed by revenge, she becomes emotionally unavailable to everyone around her. There are people who want to fix her. There are people who want her to make them worse. There are people doing both simultaneously and honestly valid. But that's the punchline, guys. Project Moon gave you nothing. Zero bait. They gave you 15 frame sprites of broken people standing in the rain. They gave you text box of psychological collapse. They gave you characters who are defined by their trauma, their mistakes, their worst decisions. And the community manufactured its own thirst from absolutely nothing. Because the writing made them care enough to project whatever they wanted onto these characters. Which means the thirst was never the requirement. The writing was always the requirement. Project Moon throws off normal rules and proves you don't need to sell sex. You need to sell characters worth caring about. And once you do that, the audience does the rest for free, enthusiastically, directly at Clay's expense. So why doesn't every gacha studio do this? Because writing is harder than art. Full stop on that one, guys. Limbus does well for itself. Very well. The numbers are public. This is not a struggling game propped up by a dedicated cult following anymore. It's making real money. And other studios have seen those numbers. They know the model works. The problem is that the approach is harder. Sex sells itself. You design a hot character, you put them in a revealing outfit, you animate them with physics that activate the monkey brain, and the character sells. The difficulty is in the art and animation. That's a solvable problem. You hire good artists, you spend money on the tech, and your character sells. Writing doesn't work like that. You can't throw money at writing and get good writing. You can't outsource make the audience care about this character's psychological arc. You need one vision, a director who knows what they're doing, a writing team that's been given time and trust to execute, a narrative structure that's been planned years in advance. You need Project Moon's specific combination of talent and stubbornness. Most gacha studios are not run by a singular creative visionary who spent years building this world across multiple games before they even launched the gacha. Most gacha studios are run by a committee that greenlit based on market research. And the market research says thighs sell, boobs sell. For some damn reason these days, feet sell. Limbus Company is an anomaly. It's proof that the thirst model is not the only model. But it's also proof that the alternative requires a level of craft and commitment that most studios cannot or will not replicate. And that's why I'm still worried about this game's future. I've said it before and I'll say it again, but it's also why I'm still here. Because when it works, when the writing hits and the design serves the story and the character you're pulling for is someone you actually want to understand, there's nothing else like it. And this is where I stand, guys. I'm going to keep making videos about what scares me about this game's future. That's not going to stop. I'm too invested. But I'm also going to keep making videos like this because the thing is, Limbus does well. It does better than anyone in the industry, and if nobody else is going to talk about why that matters, I will. If you think I've got any of this wrong, the comments are right there. Bring it on. I'll respond. 𝐓𝐴𝐼𝐴𝐼𝐴𝐼, you especially. We've got our unresolved Ryoshu business to attend to after all, and I'm not letting that go. Alden versus 𝐓𝐴𝐼𝐴𝐼, the Ryoshu Wars! Let's settle this on stream, you know where to find me. And to everyone else, whether you're here because you love this game or because you hate it, thanks for watching. Be good to each other. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.